Hello Python students, this is the feedback and solutions video for our first functions quiz. I'll have those stats posted for you at a different link, but for right now we just want to go over the two questions that you had, which were pretty straightforward. So the first question you had, we actually did this in class as part of the review, literally 15 minutes before you took the quiz. So this one should have gone quite well. So we want to build a function with two parameters, length and width. The function should return the area of a rectangle with the given parameters as length and width. You call your function with whatever length and width values you'd like to and print the returned value. There's some important keywords there, one of them being the returned value. So the function itself should not be doing any printing. It should be returning values. So let's go through this real quick. There's a couple of ways that you could have coded this, more than a couple, but we'll go over the two main ones. As with any function, we're going to use the def keyword to delineate that and say, hey, we're making a function. And we're just going to call that function, we'll just call it rectangle. We could have called it area, that's fine. And it says it wants two parameters. So there's our function name, we've got our parentheses, and now we're going to give it two parameters, length and width. Okay, those go in the parentheses, and then we have to have a colon. And as with all things Python, you have to have hanging indentation. You can't be indented over here even with this D. That is incorrect. Python groups things like conditional statements, like if statements, elif statements, loops, and functions by using hanging indents. And so all of our work has to be hanging underneath this to be grouped together. And that was a commonly missed thing. So very straightforward. We can do this, again, a couple different ways. If we want to be really verbose and explicit about this and show every step, I can just make a variable inside of this function. It would only be able to be seen inside this function. And I can just go ahead and multiply length times width. And then remember it says return. So we're going to return a value. And there's no parentheses here. All you do is put return and then space and then whatever it is you want to return. And so we want to return the area. And there you have it. There's the function. It's very, very straightforward. Okay, so that's the function defined. If I run that, you're going to see that nothing actually happens because the function is going to go at the top of the it's going to go at the top of the code so that it loads into memory, but we actually haven't called the function. So it's going to load into memory as soon as Colab makes up its mind to make a connection, and then it'll be loaded there for us and we won't have to worry about it. Okay, so you can see now that it's loaded in, nothing happened, but now we want to call it. So notice that I'm no longer indented under this statement. Like I'm off to the left again. So I'm saying, hey, I'm getting ready to do something that's not associated with that function. So, and many of you know this, so, but I reiterate it to let you, so remind you what's going on. So we just call the function name and let's send it two parameters, let's say 5 by 6, okay? And if we run this, we might get an echo value in return. And again, those only happen in Colab notebooks. You can see that it does show a value of 30. If we ran this in anything but a notebook, it actually wouldn't show anything. So the instruction said that we need to print that. So we can just sit here and simply go print rectangle 5, 6, and Python will call the rectangle function, pass the 5 into length, pass the 6 into width, calculate the area, then return the area. And the area will come back and replace this function call, and then it will print 30. So we should get the same thing again. So very important that you put down print in there because you're not using a notebook. You're typing that in. And again, any other environment that would not work that way. Okay, so there's one way to do this. The other easy way, another version of this would be to actually, and I'm just we'll call it the same thing. We can do the math right in the return line. if you wanted to. And that's what the example that we did in class, I showed you both of these ways. And so we can simply go return length times width, okay? And then I get out of the function, I'm going to call rectangle, and this time I'm going to give it a 10 by 12, okay? And then we run that, and we should get 120, which we do. All right, so you could do it either one of these ways. There's really no reason to do anything else. You definitely don't need to be putting values inside the function. Some of you did stuff like this. You went length, sorry, it would help if I could type equals 7 and width maybe equals 8. There's no reason for that. When you call the function, you're sending values in for length and width. But some of you went and hard-coded these things in, which would overwrite the values and not be valid code. So that's not needed when you write a function. That's just hard coding in and not making the code reusable. That don't repeat yourself principle, the dry principle. That's why we have these functions. All right, so anyway, there's how you do question number 1. It may have been your question number 2, just depends on how you got it. Either way is typically fine. If there was another way that you did it, then that was fine, then I marked it as such. All right, we're going to move on to the other question. Okay, so for the second question, it's a little more complicated, also worth 50 points. We're going to build another function. It's going to have one parameter called number, and then we're just evaluating whether or not that number is greater than 0, is actually 0, or is less than 0, and then sending back a string. So this function is going to have a conditional tree in it. Pretty straightforward. Notice that we have over and over again return, the word return. That's really important because it means we're not doing any printing inside the function. All right, we want to make sure that you are returning actual values. Okay, so let's get started. Again, with any function, we're going to use the keyword def. I'm just going to call this function 0, and it says we need a parameter called number. That would be the number that we're sending in, our colon, and then we have our hanging indentation again about how to group functions and let Python know that this code all goes together. So numbers in there, and now we just want to write this conditional. We want to say if number is greater than 0, we have to put a colon again, hanging indents for this conditional. Then we're going to return, not print, we're going to return a string that says this number is greater than 0. Okay? Now, if that's not true, we want to use elif and not if again. We're going to say if number is less than 0, all right, we're going to just return, I think they wanted this number, oops, and we need to get rid of that little colon right there. Get rid of that. Is less than 0. All right. And then we had one more condition. And there's a way you can go ahead and put else if you wanted to on this. I kind of like to go ahead and put elif, and we're going to put an else for anything else, but we're going to say elif, number, and we're testing for equality, equals 0. And again, you could put else right here. That will be totally fine. And then you don't need a condition if you put else, and I'll show you that as we get through things here. Then we're going to say that this number is 0. And so you're like wondering, well, what would we do with the else statement? Well, else is for anything else that happens. So we'll talk about error catching and stuff later on. We could just put return. We could put pass and not have anything happen, but we can return something weird happened. Again, you don't have to have it like this. you could totally have else right here and not even number equals 0. Again, we'll look at that in just a moment. All right, so I think that's it. That's the function, and the instructions want us to call it a couple of different ways. It says the first call will give a specific argument for the number and print the returned value. So let's do that one. We're going to go ahead and put a print statement because we know that we want to print whatever string comes back. The function is called 0, and let's give it -10. All right, and let's just run this and see if it works for us. Yeah, this number is less than 0. That looks right. Okay, so there's the call with the specific number. The second one wanted us to get a user input and then call the function using that value as the argument. So there's a couple of ways to do that. We could say just set a variable num, maybe. Let's not enter a number. Okay, put a couple of things here. Now the problem with this is all input comes in as strings. So if we were to run this, let's do print 0. It'd really help if I could type. And we're going to enter 10. All right. Sorry, we're not going to enter 10. We're going to enter num, which is what we were intended to do. All right, because we got user input. Now, let's see what happens here. All right, we're going to enter a number. Let's put in 10. And still trying to run. All right, so we get a type error, actually. Why do we get a type error? Because what's going on here is we're trying to compare a string to an int. So because we took in input here and did not, it comes in as a string, we can't do these comparisons between a string and an int. And the 0 is definitely an int. So all we have to do to fix that is type in int input, and then we should be good to go. So let's run that again. It's going to run that first one about -10 being less than 0. So let's put 10 in again. And now we should get this number is greater than 0. And we do. Okay. So other possible solutions for this problem, if you wanted to change the else, you certainly could. You can shift some things around as far as the input. So let's just look at shifting the input real quick. We could totally just put the input right here. We're going to cast it. Remember, we need to cast it to an int input, and then we can say enter a number. All right, and I can get rid of this line of code right here. I feel like we've probably got too many parentheses down there, I'm guessing. Let's see. Let's go this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, that's right. So this will do the same thing. It's just going to gather the input, bring it here, then run whatever, cast it, and then run whatever input we put in up there. The other thing that you can do, which is a totally valid use case, is you could just say else and then return okay, that's another way that a lot of you probably coded this. All right, well, that's it. If you have more questions, you can see me during class or during connectivity, and I'll be glad to help you out. Thank you.